I used to read Word Up magazine.
Every day up in the limousine.
NPK Live.
Yeah, it's been a stressful week. Let's get into it. So it's podcast 104.
Podcast 104.
With-
Juicy.
With myself, Thomas,
And myself, Stephen.
and the podcast is called It's Your Podcast.
Oh, okay. So
it's
that's
your
how it is it?
It's your podcast.
Okay,
It's not my podcast.
So I can go on science and we can talk about technical issues, maybe do a little bit of politics,
Oh, whoop-de-doo.
religion.
It's
Gonna
going to
get
be a
deep
long one.
into it.
It's going to be a long one.
No, we'll keep it short because it has been a long week for all of us.
Yeah.
And it's Friday today, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, end of the week.
Yeah,
End of the
thank
week.
God.
So
Thank
if you're
God.
tuning in, have a good weekend, everyone, as well. And for everyone, unfortunately, people listening on podcast, it's Sunday and it's work tomorrow. You're fucked.
Yeah.
Unless you work for NPK and every day's a good day. Innit?
Every day is like paradise at NPK.
Okay, so, podcast 104, juicy. How do we make our produce juicy?
Oh, I don't know. This is your podcast. You're going to tell us, aren't you?
Yeah. Are you just going to sit there and be a listener today?
Yeah, I'm a listener today.
Okay. So, I'm going to going to go deep first, you know. We're going in deep. Terpenes, terpenoids and trichomes.
Ooh.
So,
What's all this?
people want to know definitions when they begin. So, something that people picked up on last week is that they were happy that we started out with a few definitions, even though we didn't fully understand what organic means. And I don't think anyone really knows what organic means.
I'm still lost by what organic means. After
Hence,
that podcast.
a little bit of clarification. Last week's podcast was meant to show how the difference of opinions ranges on organics and synthetics and minerals and what is organic, what's the actual definition. And I don't think there's a real good definition of organic. There's organic that's no pesticides and all that, but the point is we're going to do 4 or 5 podcasts. We're going to get guests on, the people that really know the in-depth of organics and can hopefully help us out with the definition.
Just sort my ponytail out a bit instead.
They're the in-depth notes, them.
Oh.
VOCs, DOCs.
So terpenes,
DOWs.
terpenoids and trichomes.
Yeah.
Come on then, let's be having it. What do you know?
So, let's talk about smell first. Smell, crucial part of many plants. That is what terpenes are.
Oh, the smell of plants.
The smell of plants.
Okay.
So, the fruit. I'm fresh today.
Do you have terpenes or terpenoids or
No.
no?
I don't know what I put on today. Something smelling good though. Terpenes and terpenoids. Let's first get into the definition of them two. So terpenes are, for the scientific ones, unsaturated volatile compounds, and some people call them VOCs, volatile organic compounds, and basically they're volatile because they make the room smell.
So what are they?
So volatile organic compounds, and if you're really into your science, it's unsaturated volatile compounds. Unsaturated hydrocarbons, if you want to go even deeper.
So does that mean they're not wet? Because when you're saturated, you're normally wet, aren't you? Yeah. Is that what that means?
That's not at all. No. Unsaturated means that the chain isn't.
You know, like
filled with
when you've
hydrogen.
when you've let it down the shops for the bread or the milk or something, and it just starts pissing it down. You run and you're like, I'm absolutely saturated. It's not that, no.
Definitely not that.
Okay,
No.
go on.
But
Anyway.
I love your point of view.
Well,
It's
just because you
something
said
I can think
unsaturated, you know, science is normally, well, it's not really common sense, is it? It's very complicated.
of. Yeah. Well, it can be, but saturated for the scientists means that it's the branch of carbons is saturated with hydrogen, so there's no more hydrogens can go on there.
That's
so
what I thought you meant.
unsaturated means it has more hydrogens can go
That's
on
what I thought you meant.
there.
I was just checking.
Okay, yeah, good. So a terpene, to give you a real life answer, would be limonene in lemons. So you squeeze a lemon, you get that real citrusy smell. That's limonene, and that's a terpene.
I was, you know,
Go on.
sorry.
Go on.
No.
You can feel free to butt
I
into
was
my
just
podcast.
thinking, I was just thinking something. I was thinking, don't you have to go to the clinic to get rid of that?
Terpenoids.
Terpenes? But they're hippies, aren't they?
I wouldn't know.
Neither would I. I've just read it in a book somewhere. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's fine. You can crack on. You can butt in any time you want. But then there's terpenoids. So the difference between terpenes and terpenoids is that terpenoids have gone through a bit of oxidation, basically meaning they've been chemically altered. So when you were hanging your tobacco plants.
Yeah.
So tobacco plants.
This is something I know.
terpenes.
I remember hanging me tobacco plants.
Tobacco plants have got terpenes and trichomes as well.
Yeah.
Trichomes are the extensions of the plant. And
Yeah.
then I'm gonna real hammer home the science. It's an extension of the epidermis, the outer layer of the outer two layers of the cells. And when you hang your tobacco and then you allow it to dry, oxidation occurs, and that changes then, and it becomes a mixture
So
of
what is
terpenoids.
a terpene?
It is. Well, I've just explained it.
No, but no, in normal words.
What you can smell.
Oh, can I see it?
No. You could probably see it under a microscope, but you can't see it. You can see trichomes, and you can see what terpenes within the trichomes. You can touch trichomes, and the terpenes are within the trichomes.
What's terpenoids?
So terpenoids are like an altered version of terpenes. So terpenes the real pure natural version, and then terpenoids
Like
are
X-Men, like a mutated version.
Yeah, a little bit like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they'll give you a slightly.
So where does the trichomes come into part? Into this?
Trichomes is the extension. It's what the plant pushes out oils, and then when it's
So you
pushing
can
out
see the
oils, so you
trichomes?
can see the trichomes. Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to get that bit out.
The best way to describe it is that I think I'm going to get this right. I'm probably going to get it wrong actually. Terpenes are, one sec, what's happened on the video here? We've got into the screensavers come on.
We're in screensaver mode. So when you're in screensaver mode,
we stopped talking because it really throws us. Sponsored by Sony. Oh, that was shit.
so this shit never works first time, does it?
Oh, well,
so at least you know we're officially sponsored by Sony now.
Yeah, and you know the brand of our 4K camera.
Yeah.
Look, they're all going mad now. They can't see us though.
No, we're in the dark. I'm in the black hole. Somebody let me out.
Hello.
Open the door.
Can't see you.
It's Adam. He's done something.
Oh, we're back.
No.
Oh, the lights have come on.
Yeah, that was
Happy
it.
days.
The lecky. We never paid the lecky bill.
Yeah. Throw 20p in that meter there, matey. Keep us going for a few more minutes. Eric said hello. Seeing as we took a little break there, Eric said hello. Everyone started laughing at us.
Oh.
Dave said sponsored by Sony. Nice one, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
That's why we've managed to get a.
Yeah, we have actually
Barcelona.
got, because we're sponsored by Sony, we've got loads of 60-inch 4K tellies.
All round the show.
And to give away to everybody, free to everybody.
That's
no, I'm only messing.
That's personal competition, you're
yeah. We're not sponsored by Sony.
It's okay. Back to terpenes and
yeah.
trichomes. If we can get this right.
I hope you get it right.
All terpenes are trichomes, but not all trichomes are terpenes. So it's like, and then the way to describe it is like saying all mice are animals, but not all animals are mice. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because mice are rodents. Mice are rodents.
Yeah, but they're still classed as animals, aren't they?
Not technically.
The big brand that under the
well, if you was going to go, if you was going to go into the pet shop, yeah, you would say, "Can I have a mouse?" To buy a mouse, you wouldn't go in and say, "Can I buy an animal?"
You can buy a mouse from Curry's, and Maplin.
Yeah,
yeah,
and you wouldn't go in there though and say, "Can I have an animal?" Would you? Would you?
No, you wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't, and you wouldn't go into the fucking pet shop neither, would you? And say, "Can I have an animal?" And expect to be given a mouse.
What if you don't know what animal you're after?
But yeah, I do agree with you. Little, I just want to be devil's advocate for a second. But yeah.
So yeah, there's terpenes, terpenoids, and trichomes. So if we talk about them, we'll give you a little definition at the beginning there, and you might fall asleep.
Are we going to? Okay, so what are we going to do to improve it then?
So the reason evolutionarily.
What?
Evolutionarily.
No, that's no way of word.
Yeah, yeah, it's going in the dictionary.
Yeah,
NPK words.
Yeah, it's definitely in it.
Evolutionarily speaking.
Evolutionary. Are you messing? Evolutionarily speaking. Yeah, go on.
So, evolutionarily speaking, plants produce their terpenes and trichomes as a defence against pests and molds.
We noticed that.
Humidity.
We noticed the defence mechanism in the tobacco factory, didn't we?
When you stressed it out a little bit.
Yeah, stressed the plant out and it started producing these terpenes.
Yeah, and trichomes, what you've seen as the trichomes. And stressed against high UV, so in the midday sun, it's going to produce more trichomes. Because, when, here's one for you. Let's go and start how you can actually improve your terpenes and trichomes. UV light. So Solistec do a 10,000 Kelvin ultraviolet light.
Part of the light diet, isn't it?
Part of the light
it's
diet.
The last bulb, the finishing bulb.
The finishing bulb.
Yeah.
Last 2 weeks of flowering or flush. And what it does is it stresses the plant out. So what happens when you go on holiday to a hot country and you lay out in the sun?
We get sunburns.
Do you then get a tan?
Yeah.
So that tan is the melatonin in your skin providing protection against further sun damage. So a plant's version of tanning.
Oh no, I've already blistered. I've already blistered and then it goes a bit brown.
Is that how you go, is it?
Yeah.
I go red and then...
I think most of us don't.
A bit more red and then
white
again. It seems to go paler.
Yeah,
I always come back off holiday whiter than I go in. I tend to stay indoors a little bit. So that's what happens. So the Solistec bulb increases trichome production because it stresses the plant out. So anything that any way you can increase the trichomes, a good method is using a UV bulb, and it's a UVB. It's low iron glass, and any other bulbs that you find that can produce more UVB, it will give you the same effect. But be very careful, because using them, someone's used them in veg before and found that it crisps the plant right up, because it's a stress bulb. It's not, the plant doesn't enjoy what you're doing to it, but we can manipulate.
So you're manipulating the plant to gain better results.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be for yield. So as the plant's trying to protect itself, it's not pushing out onto yield.
Yeah, it expels these extra trichomes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's more for your quality, which is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Now we've gone into a little bit quick there. If I've got loads of notes here, I just basically wrote some shit down. I'm going to go through them. But the essential number one point is to be good at the basics, because if you're not good at the basics, if you're not good at the basics, then what's the point in trying to do this tweak or that tweak or this tweak? It's like having Barry will like this. It's like having Barry's race car, and he's all got all the little tweaks. He's got the dashboard, he's got the gear stick, the bucket seats, all the harnesses, and he didn't buy proper tyres. So
True.
the proper tyres is your basics, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you haven't got the basics right, it doesn't matter what tweaks you make, they're never going to produce what you want them to produce. So get the basics right, that's it. If you listen to this and you think that you're slacking in certain areas, then
you need to
pause.
Stop this podcast
and maybe go back a few episodes and listen to the basics. What one was that? Back to the basics.
101.
Was it 101? Yeah, back to the basics.
Or go back to number 1 and start
all over again, because this is high tweaking environment to get the best out of it. You were talking about synthetic versus organic last week. And
was that last week or the week before?
What did we 102? I can't remember. They all seem to.
Don't know. I know
the weeks merge, don't they?
Anyway, sorry.
Organically grown crops do seem to have a better aroma. And you were shocked at that, weren't you?
Yeah,
the taste
we
test
did prove that
week.
in the test that we done, didn't we?
Yeah, so I wrote a question down. Is the better aroma from organic nutrients because of the life in the soil that you have to include? So the life, the organics, the bacteria that will help break down the organic nutrients. Is it because of the life in the soil that helps uptake elements, or when compared to growing with mineral nutrients? So is it the fact that you're feeding them plant-based foods and guanos, posh word for poo? Is it because of that, or is it because of the microbes, or what's the difference?
You tell me.
I tell you, okay. So I've got a few theories, and I know that I think there's a few people watching that.
I would have assumed because the products are derived from natural extracts, that's the reason for the hence the better.
There's a few opinions.
Flavours and aromas.
Organically, seaweed has got 61 trace elements within it, which you don't tend to get with mineral-based nutrients. So is it the extra trace minerals that are getting given to the plants that increase the aroma?
Because the synthetic minerals are more homed in on each.
Exactly, on what the plant needs to survive.
Rather than all of these other collectives that are accumulated from natural extracts.
Exactly. Now, something that I get a grievance about.
Oh, here we go.
When people add molasses to the soil when they're using organics, and they think that because they're adding soil and they get a better flavour, it's because of the molasses, blackstrap molasses, unsulfured and sulfured and all that malarkey.
Yeah.
It's
But
the
we're not a big
sugars.
fan of molasses, are we? At all?
Well, you're not, because you're mineral, aren't you?
Yeah.
And when it comes to molasses, if you're a mineral grower and you're adding molasses, it's pointless because the plants don't take up sugars.
I just don't see any benefits at all what I've used.
There won't be. There isn't a benefit. It's pointless if you grow minerally, or with synthetic nutrients, because you add molasses because it feeds the bacteria. So if you grow minerally, you don't tend to have beneficial microorganisms in there. So why on earth are you feeding with molasses? It doesn't make sense. And the companies that have got sugar products have refined these sugars so that the better uptaken.
Well, yeah, here's one for you.
We're
talking about refining of sugar products. You're a perfect example of this.
Okay, I'd like to see where you're going with this.
Yeah. Well, is it? Am I right or not saying that over the past few weeks you have stopped taking sugar in your tea and coffee?
Yeah. I thought you were going to say because you're a refined character. I was going to say thank you.
Well, you've refined yourself. You've removed sugar from your diet, haven't you?
Yeah.
Said
did I say last week?
Well, what's that been like?
I'll be honest, I don't feel any different. But what I have done is not put 1.5 kilos worth of sugar into my body.
How long's that over?
4 weeks, 5 weeks this
Taking
weekend.
how much sugar out of your diet? We're doing what? What have you been doing?
So with coffee, I used to have 2 teaspoons of sugar, and that weighs about 13 grams. Worked it out 13 grams. I have 5 cups, times that by 5, times that by 7, times that by 4 for 4 weeks.
And it worked
out at 1.3 kilos of sugar, not in my body anymore.
Now, have you dropped dead?
No.
Have you been feeling really unwell?
No.
You look very healthy to me.
I feel very healthy.
So it looks like you didn't need it, did you?
I had a little bit, I'll be honest, I had a little bit of port last night.
Ooh.
We cracked open the port and I was feeling a little bit rough this morning.
Oh, okay.
So with some people see it on it.
Oh, so that'll explain you today then, is it?
Yeah. Being a little bit slow.
But as we were saying, so Steve's refined sugar out of his diet. He didn't need it.
Mm-hmm. And
sugar in plants, I believe, is bad for the plants.
However, microbes and grown organically, microbes love sugar. It's what they feed, and a plant will actually push sugars out of its root zone into the rhizosphere to feed the bacteria. It's a symbiotic relationship. The plant works for the bacteria. Bacteria breaks down. The bacteria breaks down the organic nutrients and gets the plant to uptake it as ions. And that was a little bit of our point last week as well. The plant uptakes ions of nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium, and it can't distinguish between ions of organic and ions of mineral based.
So it doesn't know the difference anyway.
Doesn't know the difference, but it's the bacteria. It's all about the bacteria.
But with the organics, what we're saying is it's got all these other little bits that aren't with.
You don't think about too much, do you?
Yeah, that are also added in.
The trace elements, the seaweed with the trace elements, the bacteria. And here's one for you. Is a reason? Is it because does organics tend to come out better because people who grow organically tend to be more in tune with the plants?
You'll find that. That's what I tend to see as well. With organic growers, they're more interested in the plant and its life and becoming as one with the plant.
Yeah, I'm not going to say all mineral growers, but typically mineral growers are using mineral because they just want to get the best out of the plant the quickest, don't they? So it's a point, it's a viewpoint that I've got. If anyone wants to, I'm hopefully going to strike some conversations up as well, because you can all join in. So feel free to join in and comment. So that was that. So we talked about feeding molasses, organic grown. It can be beneficial for the bacteria, but using it in mineral is pretty much useless. And plants don't take up sugars. So stop giving them black molasses if you're a mineral grower.
People do find to use molasses sugars to increase the yield. It does work, but it's bad for the plant. Your plant will taste of shit. So don't do it.
Do you know what I've just gone to do then?
Don't do it.
Look what I've just gone to do. I'm doing this on the iPad, scrolling through the comments, and I got my piece of pad here, and I went to scroll on the top here. But this is bad, people. We need to, I've got paper here, which is going back to the old school. And I've just tried to scroll it up. Real paper.
Yeah. No, it doesn't scroll.
Which we will recycle. The next one is the last few weeks from flowering, from about week 6 onwards. reduce the amount of feed that you're giving your plants.
Well, with flavours also, this is a crucial time because there's certain products. The product that we loved very much so by Botanicae.
Yeah.
Sweet raw,
berry, sweet citrus, sweet berry, and there's a US product called sweet grape.
Yeah.
Which you don't get in the UK.
Unfortunately, we haven't got them products any longer. However, they did increase flavour
massively. I've actually got a little paragraph on them.
So you guys in the US who are listening to us and are thinking, wow, what product was that? We were talking about Botanicae. Unfortunately, we can't have it. We haven't got it any longer in the UK, but it is an unbelievable product. And them products that we listed then are the product that you use in the last 3 weeks, is it? You can use it all the way through,
yeah.
But some of my customers was just using them for the last 3 weeks for maybe a flush, and it was still increasing the flavour and the aroma of the plant.
Yeah. Well, I've actually, do very good at enhancing aroma. I think we'll do a bit more on them in a minute.
Have I just jumped into
you just screwed my paragraph. I just crossed all that out now. Zeb has said that since using Buddha's Tree PK918, my aromas have massively increased compared to CANNA's PK1314 I've used previous on the same plant. Well,
I think that is because I'll assume that he was using the CANNA 1314 just in week 5 and 6 for a 1 week period only, and he's using the 918 for a longer time, so it's got more effect on the plant. And plus, Buddha's Tree's product is shit hot as well. Really good product.
I might be wrong. This is obviously off the top of my head. I do think 918's got sulphur in it, and sulphur can help with increasing aromas and flavours, and like you've seen there. Jamie says lies. You need to expand on your comment. It's all just lies. Let us know what is lies.
lies. It's all lies. Everything's lies. We're lying about plants.
I think that's Brian under a pseudonym.
They don't really grow.
Theories.
They don't need nothing.
We're all just
get them and just throw them in the corner and do nothing to them. It's all lies. Don't believe this podcast. Plants don't really need anything. Neither do we.
We survive on
nothing.
Air.
Yes.
The life cycle of a plant to increase quality.
Life cycle? What are you talking about? That plants live? What? What are you?
It's life cycle, life force, life energy.
Ooh.
You always get me distracted. You always think of different things. But get on this and you research.
You know what I think when you said life force?
What?
Star Wars.
Lightsaber.
Yeah. Life force. The force.
So you've got the geekers in there within you somewhere. Ooh. The nerds.
Stop telling everybody that I go to them. I go to them things just as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, don't lie now. You go as Princess Leia.
Oh.
And you get them buns in your hair, don't you?
You go as Jabba the Hutt.
Chewbacca.
Jabba the Hutt.
I can't do it.
That sounds alright.
Did it sound alright? Good. James said you can't change the taste of a plant with what you feed it. Correct. But you can change the aromas, which is what we were talking about. You jumped in. Zeb lies, he must work for Buddha's Tree. No, the 918.
Hold on. Whoa. James. What's he saying? You can't change what the plant feeds.
Change the taste of a plant with what you feed it.
So, how come? Okay, I'm not saying you can, but just answer this one for me then, James. You know when you give your plants a load of shit, and your plant tastes like dog shit at the end? Explain that one for me. And I'm all there with you. I'm all ears. Not that I do give me plants shit and they do taste like dog shit, but in my earlier growing years, I have made them errors and I have had them problems.
Mm. Well, we love this because Zeb actually says in his comments, my aromas massively increased, and Jamie said the taste of your plant. Taste and aroma is massively different.
Yeah.
Linked.
Both very interesting and very key.
Good points. Though. Yeah. And you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. It is hard to change.
Hold on, stop. We've got this mystical person who's just come out of the teleport machine and landed into. Are you coming to get involved? Come on. Yeah, you can just chill there, can't you? Yeah, you're on the camera anyway. How are we? We are on. Today's topic is podcast 104.
Okay.
And we are on Juicy, which is.
It was all a dream. Used the word
No.
Used to read Garden Culture magazine.
No, it is.
How to increase flavours, aromas, and general overall quality of a plant.
Okay.
What techniques? This is quite. It is my
I came
podcast
across an
today.
interesting thing yesterday. Terpenes are actually available in a bottle to buy off the shelf in the US at the moment.
Yeah,
so,
they are synthetic terpenes.
Yeah, so you can pretty much change the flavour of any given fruit or vegetable that you so desire.
Is that the flavour or
Absolutely,
the aroma?
The flavour and the aroma.
Because we've got James on here saying it's impossible to change the flavour of a plant.
You can't change the taste of a plant with what you feed it.
What do you think? What's your opinion on that?
I think he's right to a point.
I think he's right.
It's real
but
difficult to change.
What I said to him then is,
seeds.
I've done errors in the past, and I've made the plant taste horrible.
Okay, so to improve flavour is really difficult.
Yeah.
To make it taste really bad is really easy.
Which is the other end of the scale.
So yeah, in terms of changing the plant actively by feeding, I'd say yeah, he's pretty much spot on. The terpenes are used in the drying process.
Yeah. Good comment, James.
Interesting.
Jamie, sorry.
He is a good friend of a guest that we had on episode 100.
Oh, okay. Good stuff.
Jamie says, "You know I'm right, Jay." Yeah.
You are technically, yes, you are right. But it is possible to change the flavour.
No, you're all wrong. You're all lying. Stop. Don't lie. You're all liars.
Let's actually dig even deeper. Let's try and see if we can be devil's advocate. Can we change the bricks content of a plant though through what we feed it?
Yes.
Bricks
absolutely.
being sugar.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So more
Molasses
sugar,
is usually
sweeter.
We've just been talking about molasses
and organic growing.
I like if it's used correctly in the right quantities. Obviously, overuse of it can be damaging to the general health of your plants. But in terms of flavour and aroma, that's probably the closest you'll get to affecting it in terms of feeding.
But we were talking about the beneficial bacteria feeding on the sugars of the molasses and then increasing uptake of all the range of nutrients being why the plants benefit from it.
Yeah, that's a microbial conversation. I think that's probably a podcast.
I can hear these heavy footsteps coming in now.
We haven't got enough
is
mics.
somebody else come in on the magical teleport machine here? Here he is now. Yes, we're like, come in. You may as well come in now anyway, mightn't you? Have a seat.
Up? Have you scrubbed up? Are you happy to be in front of the millions and millions?
Yeah, where are you going here on that side?
They held those surreptitiously in front of the camera there. I like that, James.
Ruthless. We are good. What are you thinking of the room?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's sick, isn't it?
Unbelievable. For those who are not watching live, I suggest you find yourself a device and have a look, because the guys have absolutely outdone themselves in terms of decoration here. I think it's probably some of the best graffiti I've ever seen. Absolutely second to none.
And it's a big thank you to Mills.
Big thank you to Mills.
Yeah, big thank you
our
very
man
much.
at Mills organising the whole thing.
As you can see behind you on the wall.
Alright.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Superb.
It was all a dream until you came to NPK.
Yeah.
Just a quick sample of the podcast juicy. Just throwing it in there.
So who have we got sitting here now? Who are these two people who've just teleported in?
Well, if you've
Where
been
are they
listening to
from? What are they
podcast
doing?
100, you know these people.
Yeah, Jay from Highlight back again at NPK.
Jay from Mills. How you doing?
And what's Mills?
Nutrients. Mills Nutrients and Soils. We do DNA cocoa and cork, DNA soil and cork.
One of the
and then just a really
top
simple
medias to
nutrients.
be rocking the shop as well. DNA with cork, product that I really
The
like.
top media.
Yeah, big
Yeah.
props to DNA, doing bits at the minute, proper having a go, sensible attitude, good products, love what they're doing.
And what's going on with Highlight, Jay?
Busy day today, boys. I've been all over the northwest to see all our lovely customers.
Oh, he's lying, he hasn't. He's been sitting in the car park watching DVDs.
Yeah, I wish.
He was
Have
sat
you-
out there saying, "Can I come in yet?"
Yeah,
Does
yeah,
it look
he's
as though I've
lying.
been doing enough work?
Have you tried? Obviously, you have driven here today.
He's drove 1 mile today.
The
flew.
traffic here today was unbelievable. I think I've sat at the crossing outside, the railway crossing
Oh,
outside
yeah.
for about an
That's
hour.
great, that, isn't it?
Marvellous.
15 minutes.
It's marvellous when you're late, like, to be fair. But yeah, busy as always. Big move coming up for us, as we discussed recently on episode 100.
Oh, yeah.
We're moving to new premises, bigger and better, more buying power, passing on more discounts and better products to our customers. So yeah, that's where we're about at the moment. to be fair, my whole week up to now has been consumed with the forthcoming event in Barcelona, Spannabis.
Yeah.
Good time to mention it, actually.
Yeah, it is a
'Cause
good time
we've
to
got
mention
one more podcast, which we'll have to do on a
And
Wednesday.
it breaks up you talking about all this heavy stuff because of
you've
brain
Thomas's
overload.
headache is kicking in.
Yeah.
Are these on your team, Ardy?
Yeah.
Are these on your team? Because this is my podcast where I get to talk about all kinds of science, and now he's brought along friends to help split up the science.
Yeah, sounds good.
Unfortunately, my invoices go to Thomas, so he's
Yeah.
number one in my book.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Hate to bring it
Fair
down
enough.
to money,
Yeah,
but,
so
you know.
anyway, Stephen, back to Barcelona. Yeah, we are off to Barcelona next week. Is it next week?
It is.
Next week,
It is.
bro. You go on
It's
Thursday.
Yes. I'm
Can't
actually
wait.
flying out on Wednesday, so it's a long thing for me. But for those who don't know, Spannabis Barcelona,
Biggest hydroponic show.
biggest hydroponic show in Europe, certainly. Starting on Friday all the way through to Sunday. So try and get over and give us a look. Sure, EasyJet can find you a flight.
So you've got to stand on there.
We're there representing as usual.
Yeah. What are you?
We're main sponsors this year, so
Main sponsors.
Mills are
Mills
main
are doing
sponsors.
it.
So does that
Yeah,
mean
yeah.
freebies for everybody?
There is plenty of freebies.
Really?
Come down to stand 39. We'll have soil to give away, nutrient to give away, t-shirts. I think we've got rolling papers, mugs. Everything will be being.
What about alcohol? Any alcohol?
We have a big fridge. It was one of my
Excellent. Excellent.
main things I
Yeah,
said to
of course.
Mikey. I want a big fridge.
Have you just got a
full of beer.
seating area or anything going on?
I think we will have a seating area. We have designed it a bit different from last year. Last year we just had a stand and we were just throwing things out. So
Yeah.
this year I think we've got a seating area for the shops for you guys.
Yeah.
And then for the public it'll just be we've got like a stand and we'll just be giving freebies out over the stand basically.
Okay.
Sounds good.
NPK top tip. Make sure you pay for that 36 kilo luggage because they can take it now. So
Yeah.
get paid the £20-30 for 36 kilo luggage because Mills is giving some shit
Yeah,
away.
they're giving some
I can actually
freebies.
correct you there, Steve, on a point of fact, because it's 34 kilos. I know this because I've just tried to ship a 36 kilo pop-up over for our booth, and it's not happening. So, yeah, it's actually 34. But close.
It'd be good, interesting to see you getting that on the plane.
Yeah,
Sneak it in a backpack.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have some interesting conversations with cabin crew on the way to Barcelona, yeah, without a doubt.
What's that big rod in your...
Yeah,
It's a pop-up.
So anybody who's listening who doesn't know about the show and is in the vicinity of Barcelona,
Barcelona, in Catalonia.
in Catalonia,
That's one for the dictionary.
which the dates are, what's the dates? The 12th, the
11th,
I believe
12th,
it's 11,
10th.
12, 13.
Is it?
Yeah. Is that
10th,
right?
11th,
10th, 11th and 12th.
11th,
Last year was 11th, 12th, 13th.
Yeah.
It's the weekend anyway.
yeah,
Friday,
this
Saturday, Sunday.
weekend coming up next
Yeah.
week.
Weekend coming up.
Next weekend
weekend.
coming.
We've got a podcast
Is
on
this
Wednesday.
weekend? When is it?
Next weekend.
Okay.
And for people listening on the podcast, it is this weekend.
Okay.
All very confused.
Right.
Of course, this won't be uploaded until next week.
No.
So,
So you got to give it to the live people. And you got to give it to
We're
the
also
people
shooting a
listening on
live
podcast.
video. Not a live video. We're shooting a video, and it will be available. The NPK show, starting of the NPK show, won't it?
really looking forward to that because you have had a go on previous years to try and produce some kind of video footage and sound stuff, and it's never really gone kind of as well as you would hoped. I think you're much better prepared for it this year. You've got the right equipment, you've got the right people in
It's
place.
gonna be
You've got your new
exciting.
producer Murky on the case.
Yes.
And you'll make a much better job of it this year. I'm looking forward to seeing the footage.
So it's all on for Spannabis this year.
Yes, there's going to be Instagram Live, Instagram pop-ups,
I've got
Instagram
my sailor
stories,
suit
Facebook
because
Live.
we're staying on
Your
the yacht.
sailor suit?
Because I'm driving the yacht.
Thomas is Captain Pugwash.
I've rented the yacht for the MPK team,
Diddly.
and I'm gonna get my little sailor's hat on, ready, all aboard. That sound like
Mate,
a train
look,
act,
look,
doesn't
at, look at the time there of where we're at. I want Captain Pugwash's song to come on. For everyone that is too young to have never seen Captain Pugwash. Awesome cartoon.
Showing your age there, Stephen.
So, anyway,
Pugwash were amazing.
He was brilliant.
There's class.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Right, let me get my lapel back on.
so where was we up to anyway, Stephen?
Science.
Science.
Yeah. How good does Einstein look, by the way?
Einstein looks good.
I think it's all next level.
Yeah, it
If
is.
you want to
It
see,
is.
if you want to see, just check out the Instagram. The Instagram's on the at NPK_hydroponics. It'll all be on there over the weekend as well.
I'm actually going to send some pictures of the graffiti to CANNA as we speak.
Good stuff.
Because I'm sure they'll be pleased to see.
Well, the thing is, what I want to say as well, last thing on Barcelona is make sure you are tuned in to NPK Hydroponics Live, NPK Technology, the Instagram, because we'll just be doing all kinds. Going
All
live,
sorts of
and a
media
YouTube
going on.
video. It's going to be sick. So if you can't make it to Barcelona,
get some popcorn.
You'll be there with us.
Yeah,
if
get some
family,
popcorn.
you'll be there with us through the screen.
Yeah, and pull up a chair and get the iPad on charge, so you can stay with us the whole journey.
Right, let's get back to this conversation that we were having on here. Yeah, so bricks. We were talking about bricks, weren't we? So Jamie was saying you can't change the flavour of a plant through fertilisation, through different fertilisers or additives, but you can change the bricks content. I'm going to prove that when I'm in my lab by growing tomatoes, feeding tomatoes on one fertiliser, feeding them on another fertiliser, and showing you the difference in bricks. And the higher the bricks, the higher sugar, the sweeter the taste.
How do you measure bricks, Stephen?
With a
Brixometer.
spectrometer.
Okay.
And what it does is...
I knew it was sonometer.
So what? I'm glad you asked, Jay.
In there somewhere.
I'm glad you asked how it works.
I was genuinely interested, to be fair.
Get a sample of your sugar solution.
Yeah.
And it's refractometer, because as it passes light through, you've got to be in a good light source. As light passes through the refractometer, it refracts differently with the increase in concentration
Didn't you know
of
this,
sugar.
Jay?
Okay, that's interesting.
And you get a readout on your
That's
refractometer.
interesting. Very similar to the way in which we measure EC.
On a mobile one, when they're checking cropping like grapes and stuff, where they smear it and look through.
Yeah, you
Same
can
thing,
get
isn't
some
it?
stuff like that,
Interesting.
and it refracts as the sunlight
It's through
passes
refractology, isn't it?
Refractology.
So there's an ology in there as well?
No, that's where you get your feet rubbed, isn't it? Reflexology.
That's reflexology.
Everyone giving major props to the... What Jamie said, what's your thoughts on indirect fertilisers?
Ooh, now that's a really good question.
Is that indirect fertiliser? I'll be honest, I'm not 200% on what he means. Do you mean foliar feeding?
On what he means. The indirect could mean
Foliar fed,
or...
organic, where you're not actually feeding the plants, you're feeding the soil and the bacteria. Little bit of...
What's he saying? Sorry, I was distracted then. What was that? In indirect feeding?
Yeah.
So
what do you think of indirect feeding?
Well,
Indirect fertiliser. So it's either means foliar feeding or organic feeding.
Champion, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Just clarify a little bit for us, buddy, and we'll answer that gladly.
Adam's taking his camper to Barcelona. So
Is he?
see us there.
Yeah, party. Watch, I'm getting in that camper, me mate.
Pete said, see you boys at Barca. You definitely will.
Defo.
Bricks meter from Leaf. We use this in the vineyard. Adam. I knew Adam would be onto the bricks meter.
Yeah, well, you want to see my grapes in my allotments, Adam, the champion.
I'm just going to show the viewers this.
Go up to that camera and show them.
Graffiti work, because I think it just needs to show them. Is that close enough, mate? Can you see that?
So Jay's just showing everybody the CANNA gorilla. The gods must be crazy. That's a really good picture, that, actually.
We've had these hoodlums in here spraying up the shop.
Yes, I have, yeah.
Looks good, doesn't it? So
It's good.
Jamie's clarified by saying fungus, microbes and bacteria. Big fan, because we need to work with nature rather than against it. Dettol, 99.9% effective. We think that we're getting rid of all the bacteria. The bacteria were here billions of years before us, and they will be here billions of years after us. We need to start working with bacteria. Antibiotics, we need to start working with bacteria in that
I was
case.
going to put an advert in the job centre.
Were you?
Yeah.
More microbes.
Yeah,
NPK.
bacteria is wanted. Apply within.
Yeah.
I think he's coming, yeah, here he is.
Bloody UPS. Hey, not even for us. That's typical UPS, that, isn't it? Hey, you just dragged me all the way out of a live show, all the way downstairs.
UPS are very, very good. In fact, they're experts at delivering other people's parcels to you.
Dad, they just delivered next doors
Yeah.
To me?
Yeah.
They just dragged me out the live show.
Now, if you were waiting
I
for
went all the
something-
way down the bloody stairs. He went, all right, make parcel for next door. I've just went, are you fucking messing?
But if that was a parcel for you, you'd still be waiting.
I'll
till
be
next
still
Friday.
waiting. Well, next door will be waiting, won't they? They'll be waiting a bloody week now for that parcel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all still attached?
Yeah, we're all
Okay.
still attached.
This
Sorry
is,
about that.
this is what happens when you go live.
Yeah.
And if you don't like this shit and you think, oh, this is fucking shit, stop fucking watching and listen on the podcast. This is live shit. Podcast is the real shit. Stop fucking moaning.
And while you two were just there, I've just got to do something
Simple,
dead
innit?
quick.
Hey? Simple. People moaning that we've had to scoot off in 5 minutes and it's live. Who else does live videos for an hour talking about shit? Just
I'm
before they all
still
get
in the
in there.
room. I'm
Bill
just
Oddie does live videos for an hour.
adjusting this picture frame a
I bet
minute.
he doesn't
During
get anything
the
wrong
autumn.
either.
You'd be surprised.
Does shit go wrong
Yeah,
with Bill
very
Oddie?
wrong, yeah, very wrong.
That makes me feel better.
Yeah. Spring Watch. You don't watch Spring Watch?
I do occasionally. Who's the main host of that Spring Watch?
Bill Oddie.
Is it Bill Oddie as well? Oh, okay. No, I haven't actually seen that. I will. Will do
I'm
that.
pretty sure it's Bill Oddie. Probably have 1,000
Anyway,
comments now, correct?
how much has Bill Oddie paid you to say Spring Watch on the number 91
Spring
podcast
Watch?
in the Natural Sciences charts of iTunes?
Spring Watch as in that programme on telly, Spring Watch?
Yeah. How
Not much.
free advertisement for Bill Oddie on the number 91 podcast in the Natural
We like
Sciences
Bill, though. He's a
charts.
naturalist, isn't he? We like Bill.
How many times do you have to say number 1 podcast in the Natural Science charts before you say, well done, Steve, worked really
Have
hard?
you increased this
Did you
Brits
say-
content yet?
Did you say number one?
Number 91.
91, I think, is that's well worth handshake. Congratulations, well done.
Thank you very much.
Last week there was 200, right?
152 last week, and then I checked it again. I think it's since episode 100. To subscribers, real talk.
Who knows how these things work? But
It's mad, isn't
you're
it?
91 anyway, so.
You're 91. I've got a pic. I took a picture of it, screenshotted it, so people believe me. Behind the scenes are the best. Any chance of a Mills Cup? Dave, if you,
Yeah.
there is, but we give away loads of shit all the time, and I am up the ball with sending stuff. Zeb knows, and everyone else that's been sent free stuff also knows it takes me a little while to get to you. So if you can have anything you want within reason, if you come and collect. But Dave, seeing as you've asked, I will send it to you if you need it.
Zeb saying there that I must work for the BBC. Zeb, I can give you every assurance in the world, buddy. The BBC is the last corporation I would ever work for.
No.
I just have to like the programme.
The second to last corporation.
Probably second, yeah. We had this conversation the other day, didn't
after
we?
Monsanto.
Yeah.
Okay. Monsanto and then the BBC.
Yeah.
What they've been
Yeah.
in 10 minutes and we've already mentioned the M word.
Yeah, because they're everywhere. You cannot get away from them. You know, they
Mad,
infiltrate
isn't it?
every conversation and everything else in this
Yeah,
world.
mate, you're right. They're infiltrating a lot, too much.
Remember to cover the logos.
Absolutely, yeah.
Too much.
Oh, this isn't Dr. Pepper.
No, this is.
It's a different drink. I put a different label on it so you can get confused.
Oh, thank you very
You
much.
just want one of
It's
these
up to
drinks
me.
that are not Dr. Pepper?
I'll have a non-Dr Pepper fizzy soft drink, please.
Yeah, mate.
Very much.
Would you like one?
Yeah, go on then. Cheers.
Do you want one, mate?
Mickey, you've got a little bit of editing to do today.
Some work for Mikey. It's been relaxing lately.
So let's back to the podcast, okay? The increasing the flavour and aroma.
Would you like a Viscount?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I'm okay. I will have one later though.
I was just, you was talking about increasing the flavour.
And you fancy a Viscount?
I fancy the Viscount.
Yeah, Dave, you can get it all when you next come up, buddy. Okay, so end of plant life, a flush is essential? Question mark. Is it essential? You flush?
No. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I know what you said no there, you thought you were being the skeptic role, but you do actually flush, don't you?
You've had
Yeah.
somebody there asking to turn the volume up. Is it
It was
quite
one
low, or-
person, Jamie, is probably quite technically bereft and needs to just turn the volume up. And I can say that because we've had a little bit of chats online, so he won't mind me saying that.
Turn the volume up, Jay, lad.
Chris Henry said a Padre Viscount, Viscount. That's a personal joke. Thomas thought
These
it was a
ones
good
are
idea.
fresh. These ones are fresh.
We can go to get that on camera. Thomas got a Viscount that had been there for about 6 weeks.
Nice.
Ate it all,
6
starving,
months.
chewed
6
it.
months.
6 months, and then realised after 3 seconds that the aroma and the flavour weren't so nice.
It weren't there any longer.
You
the
can
aroma.
affect the aroma and flavour of a biscuit quite easily.
Yeah, just leave it out.
Yeah,
for 6
just
months.
leave it for 6 months and it tastes like shit.
Adam says, what do you use like sugar everywhere? This is true. This is our treat, Friday treats.
Hey, listen, on that note, I've given up.
I
sugar
haven't.
this week.
Listen, I
I've
haven't
had
said.
no
I haven't
sugar in
said
my
that
tea
I've
or
been
coffee
taking it. I haven't stopped taking it. I love sugar. I don't put it in my plans, but I love sugar, and I know it's bad for me. But yeah, I think I'll have another Viscount in a minute to celebrate.
I've given up sugar this week, based on Stephen's advice.
Yeah, because you've been all over this stuff, haven't you?
Yeah, we've done
We
the
have.
no sugar challenge.
We have.
Why don't we
successfully completed the no sugar challenge, I have to say.
Yeah.
I set myself a week's target, and it's up today.
And are you going to continue to add sugar in now that you've got over it?
I am, even though my tea and coffee taste like shit still. I'm going to persevere with it.
Okay, okay.
It tastes horrible. I don't know how you can say, no, I've got used to. Nah, you just don't get used to it.
Everybody I speak to says, yeah, I can't drink it with sugar in now.
No.
And I think, okay, well, that point must...
The same happened to me 2 years ago. But I drink 5 cups of coffee. So I got over it pretty quick. I want to set a challenge for everyone. And it's a dead simple challenge. If you have sugar in your tea, that's the easiest one. Don't put sugar in your tea and you'll get over it pretty quick. Put sugar in your coffee. Stop taking sugar in your coffee. I've said before, just before you came, I cut out over 1 kilo of refined sugar. And don't feel madly different. But my body, I bet you my body feels a lot better.
Just do the action of going into a supermarket or your local store, pick up a 2 pound or 1 kilo bag of sugar and hold it up next to your body and just think that is what you're putting inside your body in as little as 4 to 5 weeks.
Exactly.
Which is almost insane.
So what are these notes saying? These bricks? Have you explained this brick stuff?
I've explained bricks. Yeah. This is what our building was built out of. I'm waiting for...
This fella will be shitting bricks, mate, if he doesn't hurry up and get this car fixed. That's broke, mate. Let me tell you. That's what I know.
But yeah, we've talked about bricks. And we're on to flushing, whether you use a flush or just water. Debatable, up for people's opinion.
Massively debatable.
I just use water.
And I quite like to use a flush product. Why do you just use water?
Because I think it's the most natural form of flushing a plant. You know, when it starts raining outside and, wait. Right, before it starts, look, he's just stopped it there because it's the most natural form. And when it starts raining outside in a natural environment, you don't see flushes all coming down, raining out the clouds. You just see water, don't you?
Do you use pH adjusted water too?
Yeah.
I don't.
No?
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you why. I'm a different guy. Barry, I like that one. I like to use a flush.
Different.
Yeah, I am different. I like to use a flush because you go from, we do the triangle, so you increase EC, nutrient content, up until week 5, 6 of flower, and you start to bring it off again. So you start small, babies, give them baby food, they grow up to full, mature adults, and then they turn into your nan and granddad. We eat tea and biscuits. So
Moaning our bastards.
Yeah. Can't tank us out.
Yeah.
Senile bastards.
Sorry,
Who love
nan and
tea and
granddad.
biscuits.
Love yous, really.
Who love tea and biscuits?
They don't just love water, do they?
I love tea and
Can't
biscuits.
tank us senile bastards.
Yeah.
And look, you've thrown me off now.
I love tea and biscuits.
I know you do. That's because you're old.
I know.
I can tank us and senile.
Yeah, a good shout that. So they have the tea and biscuits, they don't just go into water. Your plants, I believe, you've been giving them feed all through the 10, 15, 16 weeks, whatever it is, and then to just suddenly stop, or you've weaned them off it and give them water, I think they quite like something flush. So if I did a 10-day flush, it'd be 3 days full strength, 3 days half strength, 4 days water, and that's my little ritual.
But if you use water, do you use pH adjusted water or not?
No, because when I'm flushing, and we need to talk about flushing as well, because I'd love for the industry to stop saying flushing.
So
if I could make one change.
Complete contradiction in
Yeah.
terms, but
So let's feed our plants for 15 weeks and let's flush them out with all the nutrients that you've given them in 1 week or 2 weeks. Not a fan of that. If I could make one change, well, I'm not going to say that because I'd like to make loads of changes.
Thousands, yeah.
But if I could make a change in the industry, it would be to change the way people say, I flush my plants. I'd like them to say, I finish my plants with water or with a finishing solution. Finishing solution can be like amino acids and vitamins, and basically,
Well, maybe that's a product for us to create.
it's already out there. It's just called flush, isn't it? I want them to change it though to finish.
No, but why don't we create that change?
We could do. Start the change. You can help us start the change.
if you know me, I'm up for anything as long as it's after Barcelona. Right now, I can't cope with anything else.
Jay's a stressed man, aren't you?
Yeah.
I kind of like the word flush.
Do you?
It kind of gives people a direct instruction. In our grow charts, we always end with a flush. So we always tell them flush.
If I'm honest, I think the term flush arrived just because it kind of accurately demonstrates that you're at the end. It's the last thing you do.
Yeah.
You know,
Why can't we have one called done?
Yeah, well, if the
Full
whole
stop.
universe centred around Liverpool, I'm sure it would be called done.
What do you mean?
Over.
What do you mean it doesn't?
Oh shit, we were supposed to keep that from him, weren't we?
The whole universe does revolve around
We'll
Liverpool.
discuss that another time.
It,
Yeah,
evolves,
it does.
revolves and
Yeah.
it evolves.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. You scared me for a second there, you know.
So yeah, done.
And the reason I don't pH is because when you're flushing or finishing, then plants are no longer taking up nutrients. So you don't. The only reason you pH is so that the plants, the ions, are in the available form for uptake. Mm-hmm. So when you're flushing, you don't need them to be uptaken. So you don't need to pH adjust your water. That's my little theory.
Interesting theory.
I always use the base water that I've ever started with. So
Yeah.
whatever I'm doing, if I do RO, then I'll use RO and just flush with that. If I've started with a decent water, then I'll just flush with that.
Yeah.
I don't pH it like you say, but I do use like just the same water that I've added the nutrients to.
You see, we're blessed in this part of the world, and we're lucky that we have water straight out the tap that we can use to flush or finish, as we said.
I thought that's why we're all so mad.
The majority of the rest of the country,
The
UK
water.
certainly, they don't have the luxury of being able to use non-adjusted water to flush a lot of the time because it's too hard, it's too
Full of calcium and
calorific or
magnesium,
too, acidic, so or alkali. So, yeah, I think we're blessed, and I think our knowledge is based on the fact that we have good water to start with. I think it's probably worth mentioning other
Hard
parts of the
water
country.
areas and different areas.
Does
of the world
all
as
this
well.
stuff really matter though?
Absolutely.
Because you're all going on and on and on and on and on. And like, what are you all talking about?
It's all part of the journey, isn't it? It's all part of this learning
making a
journey that
healthier
we're all on.
plant. Well,
Yeah,
we've
but
got-
I'm talking to the people who are listening as the growers, you know, because you're going on and on and on.
It's because it's my podcast and we're talking about science and we're getting in depth here.
I
And
know-
you can have your podcast.
I know,
back
but
next
not
week.
everybody understands all of this science, so we need to simplify it a little bit more.
That's why you're here.
I know, well, that's why I'm in here now, saying what I'm saying. You know?
You simplify.
I'm simplifying. So, see this bricks palaver?
Yeah.
What's going on
Bricks
with this?
pavlova.
Yeah, what's going on with it?
Sugars in pavlovas
Sugars, the sugars. So how do we measure them again?
with a refractometer. But
Yeah.
not everyone. Listen, this is my podcast. Talk
No,
about science.
no,
Not everybody
no,
measures
no.
bricks.
How do we measure them? By being the plant whisperer
Okay.
to the plant.
So, with a higher sugar content, you will have a healthier plant. So, the higher the sugar content, typically the healthier plant. So, if you've got a
So
really
if my plant look
super
really
plant,
healthy, the leaves are really
you
sheen.
can make an assumption. I know you shouldn't do that, but you can assume your plant has got high bricks.
Okay, now we're
Okay.
getting somewhere. Now we're,
And if your plant is weak, sickly, deficient, then you can make the assumption.
so
that
isn't
your
this
plants
just
are low in
basically
bricks.
part of?
It doesn't even have to be that severe. It can be just small fruits, small
Yeah.
underdeveloped fruits that don't ripen correctly. And
Plant
So
that
isn't
doesn't grow
this?
as quick.
Would I be wrong in saying? Isn't this all just basically looking after your plant in a good way?
Yeah, and that's why. Point number one was.
So all of this right in here. Does it just mean just let's look after our plant in a
No.
good way?
No.
Are you
Because
sure?
I'm positive.
Are you
I've
sure?
got you
Are
on this
you
one.
sure?
Listen,
Oh,
there won't just be the
okay.
Bellew and hay fight going on Saturday.
come on.
I've got you on the ropes. Now, point number one was you've got to be.
We've
good
gone
at
back
the
to point
basics.
number one.
Yeah.
And this is what you've done. You've created a monster. Point number one was you've got to be good at the basics. If you're not good at the basics, press pause, go back to podcast 100 or 101, and we talk about the basics.
and listening.
And we used an analogy like Barry's racing car. He's got
Yeah,
this and
yeah.
that.
No.
Now put your wheels on. That's the basics.
Yeah.
You need that to
Yeah,
go. And
yeah,
then
we've got
tweak.
the basics.
This
Basics
is the
good.
tweaking podcast.
Yeah, the tweaking.
Yeah.
No,
Not the twerking.
no, the tweaking. So we're tweaking on this.
You keep yourself down.
So we've got the basics
to
done.
tweak.
Plant's healthy.
Yeah.
So are we increasing these bricks now?
How are we increasing the bricks?
Yeah.
We went through all this.
In layman's terms.
This is not my area of expertise, Thomas.
Layman's.
This is you. In layman's terms, increasing bricks.
Is it products that we're going to use? Are we going to use products?
Some products.
What
can
product?
help.
What products can help?
Increasing bricks. So using beneficial bacteria.
Such as?
Bactivator. So Hydroponics have got a range Bactivator, Top Heavy Crop Triple F. they will do a plethora of jobs.
Oh.
You like that word, don't you? A plethora of jobs to increase all of the trace minerals and elements that will increase the bricks.
So if we want to increase bricks as a grower, we need to increase...
Start looking at more than the basics.
Microbes.
Yeah, microbes will help.
That's where it's
massively.
at.
That's where it's at.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I'm not going to mention other products because, as a scientist, I actually haven't done the tests to see what products increase bricks, so I'm not going to mention any.
Okay.
Okay.
And it probably works for the ones he's mentioned, to be fair.
Yeah. Seen as if you give credit to any company, you usually work for them.
Absolutely, yeah. This is the way we work for this non-Dr. Peppered soft
Yeah,
drink
it's
that
not
we're all
Dr. Pepper.
sporting in front of the camera there.
Okay, let me have a little see with these comments. Would you flush if you're going organic? That's an interesting one. Probably not, because if you're truly organic, the microbes are breaking down the nutrients as and when the plants need them. So when you come to the end, the plants will know to stop taking up nutrients. And you can probably give it just water.
I would have just given
it
just water just to finish.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd have to disagree there and say that you would need to flush an organic.
Not as much as you would with mineral.
Not as much, but you still need.
Yeah, but still do it though.
You still need a period of just water, without a doubt.
Go on, what else have we got on there? Like the questions.
The questions. Well, I still think in organics, it's. I'd definitely put that on silent. The with organics, it's they're broken down as and when they need them. So you're correct. You could just push it through with water just to run out any excess salts that have already been broken down or ions, but it's really a couple of days with organics, in my opinion. I wonder if anyone
disagrees. This is where the contradiction in term comes in with the word flush.
Yeah.
Because you're not actually flushing.
Yeah.
Does this flushing mean put them down toilet?
Well,
It depends what media you're on as well, doesn't it?
to be yeah, if you're gonna flush them down the toilet.
In some of the grows I've been to.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, probably
yeah.
the best thing to do.
If you haven't been listening to the podcasts and you planted in a bad state, yeah, flush them down the toilet, because they're a load of crap.
Jamie said great white when potting up is also good.
Yeah, that's by. It's in a little it's a microorganism.
Blue packet with a great white shark.
Isn't it in a tin, that one as well?
Isn't it?
It does come in a metal tin on occasion, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Great white. Is it an advanced nutrients, this product?
No, it's not. It's not.
I'm sure
Andy
Jamie will
Ave,
tell us.
It wasn't Andy Avon.
Yeah, he was. And Jamie will tell us, I'm sure, in a minute. So, yeah, flushing. What happens is, removes all the excess salts.
You've got Mycos as well.
And Azos.
Icos.
Extreme Gardening, very good brand.
Azos, isn't that the holiday firm?
No, this is with a Z.
Oh, okay.
And what happens when you flush or finish is it basically allows the plant to get rid of residual salts within the stems.
Just get rid of all the shite that's left in the
tastes
plant.
better.
Yeah.
If you flush, it'll taste better.
Yeah, if you don't flush, it'll taste crap.
And the plant uses up its reserves and gives a cleaner taste and nice aroma. So that's flushing. It's important for getting it right if you want to increase aromas and flavours.
Also check the EC of your runoff water as well. To make sure when you flush.
How are you checking the EC then? Show us the hand action.
Yeah.
James obviously perfected that.
Yeah, he's perfect.
Obviously, I'm a EC master.
Yeah.
I'm a truncheon master.
Yeah.
You measure
That's
it.
enough of that.
It's a very interesting point he makes, though, because to measure runoff water tells a lot. It tells you a lot of information, gives you a paints a real good picture.
Absolutely.
I bet not a lot of people measure EC runoff,
No.
and you should do.
You should do.
Definitely.
You should do for sure. Especially if you get if you lock your plants up and you need to flush to get the plant uptake again.
Yeah.
You definitely need to be measuring the runoff for
Without
sure.
doubt.
Make sure you're doing it. It's all about better quality, health, better plant quality for health, and that will increase your aromas and flavours. You mentioned before aroma enhancing products was the Botanica range, sweet, raw, citrus, berry. Don't you worry yourself. Listen, one more page. I know what you're doing.
God.
One more page. This is what happens when you give me full reins of the podcast. Aroma enhancing products. We touched on them. Don't go overboard with your enhancers. So the way I explain it to customers.
Hey, listen, if you do a good job in the first place, you shouldn't need to affect the flavour or aroma of your final product.
Yeah.
If you listen to what these guys
That's what
bang on about week
That's
after
what I'm a
week,
firm believer of. I don't like to mess with shit
you
too
shouldn't
much.
have to manipulate
Just
flavour and aroma.
the 10 steering wheels, plant whisperer, be in one with your plant, look at your plant, stay focused to your plant, give it little and often. make sure the environment's key, and all of these things will come hand in hand and welcome you at the finish line.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is don't go overboard with enhancers, because what I say to my customers is that your base nutrient and your environment is your roast dinner, and these enhancers...
Oh, here he is, he's on a roast dinner
these
again.
enhancers...
My top tip is...
I hadn't finished my
one
top
at a
tip.
time.
I hadn't finished my top tip.
One at a time, one at a time, one at a time. I can't stress how many people out there give bad product reviews and bad feedback on products having used them along with everything else in their schedule.
Yeah.
Give yourself and your plants a chance to decide whether or not what you're doing is good. So do things singularly. If you're going to change anything, change one thing at a time.
Spot on. Good top tip.
People do tests as well, though, when they just do the test with the same group of plants. They don't segregate the plants or do an actual test. So I want to
there's no baseline.
It's just stupid.
More often than not, they'll say use the complete DNA Mills range in one tent and then the CANNA range in another tent and expect to see a comparable result.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all about good testing, isn't it?
Good science, scientific method. I'm just going to leave my point. Then basically, environment and base nutrients is your roast dinner. All of these boosters and PKs, is your mint sauce and your gravy. You're not going to have a dinner full of mint sauce and gravy, are you? You need your potatoes and your meat, and that's your environment, your light, and your base nutrients. Yeah. Lighting, getting the basics right is key. So start with the basics, make sure that the right height away from the top of your plants, not too much and not too little light. And for specifically, we mentioned this at the beginning actually, UV bulbs, mention them again. UV bulb stresses the sun, increases the trichomes, and basically the plant pushes out trichomes as a protection, and this increases aromas as well. Use them alone or distributed amongst your other HPS. You can use them alone for a week, or if you distribute them, you can probably get away with 1 to 2 weeks
the
off them.
manufacturers themselves recommend the checkerboard fashion, so if you can imagine 2 lines of 6 lights, you'd change alternate ones in each line.
Yeah.
Thus giving you the checkerboard pattern of 10k finishing bulb and normal.
And you still get the finish and HPS push of yield as well.
Because for me, they still need the essential parts of the spectrum that come from the HPS lamp during the finishing stage.
Jamie said he's watching from hydro to grow. Jay said he's fed up with me boring him about microbes and fungus. Reckons I could send a glass eye to sleep. Jay's with you, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's with you.
Yeah.
I like Jamie. He's asking the right questions.
Yeah,
Jamie's with me.
I'm just falling asleep here now, thinking, oh my God. Anyway, Stephen's podcast. Let's carry on.
If you fell asleep, I was going to.
Here we go.
You reminded me of a glass eye dente.
What? Lifeless?
Yeah, lifeless and asleep over there, listening to you. Come on.
No.
Let's go.
Listen, people love the science. They love it.
know.
They love to see you fall asleep.
I know. Crack on.
Oh, you know what? Next week I'm going to get you. I'm going to fall asleep when you're rabbiting on about whatever you like to rabbit on about.
Are you doing the podcast live at Barkenham?
Barkenham?
Barkenham? Oh, he's speaking the Germans here. For all the German listeners, we are going to Barkenham.
No, we're not in the Barkenham.
No, we're going to Barcelona.
Are you doing the podcast live in Barcelona? I'll
We are doing the NPK show.
The NPK show. So we did the podcast live 2 years ago, and it was awesome. And then
it was a bit of a pain in the
last year
backside,
was hard work, trying to get all the people together. So this year we're going and having fun with social media. Loads of social media for next week. So make sure you're there.
So that means everybody that's on my non-industry social media will now know exactly what I do for a living. Thanks for that, boys.
Yeah.
Our fault. Question. Does growing using soil and organics with microbes produce a better taste aroma because of the natural origins of the fertiliser, or is it because in soil organic grows plants tend to grow slower? So my question is, organic grows, plants tend to grow a little bit slower compared to mineral-based DWC type grows. Now, when plants grow slower, they're allowed to mature as they would in nature. When you push a plant through in a DWC system and use mineral fertilisers, which they weren't actually evolved to take up, they grow a lot quicker, and the flavour and aroma compounds don't have a chance to mature.
Tell that to my plants.
What do you want me to tell them?
That they're not as good as mine. Mine is not as good as his, or whatever you want to tell them. Mine's better than yours.
But aroma and flavour more than likely come out better in organics, unless you are super in a plant whisperer with mineral-based feeds.
Like you are, T.
Yeah,
Of course.
of course.
That's why there's no argument there to be had.
No argument.
There is.
Thomas
whatsoever.
is the exception to the rule.
Especially when I've
He is the
taught
plant
Stephen
whisperer.
everything that he knows
Absolutely.
and nurtured him through his whole plant life career.
Yeah.
Through my whole plant life.
Yeah, your
You
plant
calling
life.
me a plant?
I nurtured you from a
You calling me a
small
plant?
seedling like this.
What stage am I in?
We got
I can
him.
remember
we
the day
popped
when you
him.
popped him in his little
Yeah.
cube.
Oh,
And started
nurtured
to
him.
I can remember that.
My, how you've grown.
Let's
Hey.
stop talking
He
about
went under
popping.
that. He went under. Little did we know what we were creating when Thomas
Yeah.
put that little cube
Yeah.
under his T5 strip
Yeah.
light and he stood back
Yeah.
and waited to see what happened. Hey.
We had a few little issues, as you can see, but you know, he's coming along nicely now. He's starting to
Maturing
nurture him.
into a fully formed flower.
Yeah.
What stage am I in?
You're definitely in the flowering
I'm
stage.
in flowering
Yeah,
stage,
you're-
week 5.
Yeah, you're in the peak.
So it's all downhill from there,
Downhill.
and that what you're telling me.
Unfortunately, you're now going into the old man tea and biscuit stage.
Yeah, yeah, as you keep telling us about tea and biscuits. You're
So,
caught
on
up
that
to.
note, I'll get Murky to put the kettle on and I'll send our other man over here down the shop for some rich tea. How's that?
Yeah, and
Already on it.
yeah.
Already on it.
Doesn't look like he's moving his tea to me.
No.
But if we allow plants to mature a bit slower, I do believe that they will naturally give you a better taste and aroma, enhanced even compared to what people used to.
That's an interesting point. I raise a little side point here. The majority of people who consume the final homegrown product have never tasted fully organic fruit and vegetables. So the flavour that they become accustomed to is the mineral-based grow schedule.
They haven't actually got a basis of knowledge.
So if you ask them the direct question to do a test between the taste and aroma of an organic product versus the taste and aroma of a mineral-based product that they wholly used to, more often than not, they'll lean towards the mineral-based tasting better because it's more familiar.
Yeah.
So that's a real hard test to
That's a good point. I hadn't
take
thought
down
about
to
that.
grassroots level.
Yeah.
You have to be quite scientific about that test, which is a shame because if people were honest,
Even though what you're saying though, which is quite correct, even on a blinded taste test, when people are used to that mineral taste and they go, yeah, that's familiar.
Absolutely.
Organics, it does taste
We done
okay,
that
but it's
test
not
on me
familiar.
and I failed it,
Absolutely.
didn't I?
You did fail. Did you see last
did.
week? We did
I
the
failed the
test.
test.
juggling plates of food in the sound
Yeah.
booth.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
interesting. But
The tomatoes and the apple were the biggest ones, weren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Massive increase in flavour.
But yeah.
Environment, the number one point to get increased flavour and aroma. So make sure that you've got it on point. And if you want a top tip, the following would be useful. Keep the temperatures under 26.
Get a fan and filter.
That's a good top
Yeah,
tip.
yeah, definitely.
But specific to this podcast is try and keep your temperatures under 26 degrees. Over 26 degrees, terpenes tend to start to degrade and alter, and you're going to ruin them. So under 26 degrees, you're not going to burn them off, so to speak, and that's 80 degrees Fahrenheit for people who are still in Fahrenheit.
In old money.
Yeah. And during the last half of flowering is the most important part to keep it under 26 degrees Celsius. And then, excess heat causes the terpenes to lose potency. During the growing and early flowering, we want minimal fluctuation between the day temperatures and the night temperatures. A 5-degree swing is beneficial.
Yeah.
That's a 10-degree swing in Fahrenheit. I've written that down there for those old school people. But don't let the swing become too large. But in late flowering, and this is again, these type of people aren't going to be going for yields. These are people on aroma and flavour. So for the last few weeks, you can actually, if you want to push the plant and stress it a little bit, you can let them nighttime temperatures go a bit cooler, and it brings out colours and it stresses the plant, so it pushes the oil production.
Very similar in effect to using a finishing bulb.
Yeah. I wonder what would happen. So again, if you're going to use a finishing bulb, don't do the cold, big fluctuation with the finishing bulb.
Absolutely not, no.
Do one thing at a time and see which ones you prefer.
I have seen that colour, that variation bring out different colours at the end.
Yeah.
Certainly on stuff that's, shall we say, more purpley, you can get stuff that's really dark if you extend that.
your grapes can become extra purple, can't they, if you let them go cold during the night.
The colours that come up. Last year I grew a chili plant called Twilight. For anyone who's seen a Twilight chili plant, it's just a crazy array of chilies coming from every possible site on the plant. And there was maybe 10 or 12 different colour chilies on the plant by the final stages. And that was only owing to the fact that towards the end of the year, it got really cold really quick. Yeah. And I noticed some massive fundamental changes in colour. I had reds turn into purples, I had yellows turning almost back to a greeny sort of colour. Yeah. Really bizarre, and I'm going to try and do the same thing, but consciously do it this year, if you know what I mean.
So, as a point that I've put there as well, is I have not actually tried personally with creating big swings. I want to keep my temperatures, I want to keep my plants stress-free. So if you're going after enhanced aromas and flavours, you want to stress it just a tiny amount. And my point there is, I haven't personally tried it, so you guys need to experiment and start small. So start with a 6-degree swing, and if you want to try further, try 7s and 8s and 9s down the future and find out where the golden zone is. Yeah. Flowering humidity of between 40 and 50% is most beneficial. Another technique to increase your aromas, one for the ravers.
The ravers.
Aromas is to lower humidity to around 30%. Again, not best practice to keep your plants stress-free, but essentially the point of this podcast is small stresses allow the plant to protect itself, in inverted commas, which will push oils out, increase quality, and maybe not quality, but will increase aromas. So lowering it to 30%, as well as helping prevent botrytis, stresses the plant and increases the terpene production. And then the last point that I've got, before Thomas's gets a second glass eye, is harvesting. Take your time and have patience. 50% humidity, 22 degrees Celsius or 70 Fahrenheit, and light air movement, not directly at the plants, and keep plants on stems as they dry. This allows a slower drying process and a better product at the end as well. Yeah. Like you used when you grew your tobacco. Yeah. You kept it on the stem, longer from those nylon wires. And
done various stress methods to increase the on the plants.
I've put products. Yeah. Products to increase terpenes, because we've been talking loads about them, is Terminator. So I failed to do a spell check on that last little bit there. Yeah. So use Terminator. Use Terminator to destroy your plants.
There's a new one called Terpenese.
Is that similar to Terpinator?
Very similar to Terpinator in its essential makeup, but obviously from a different company. Yeah. Comes from Canada originally, I believe, and is very, very highly recommended by the Solus Tech boys, who have told me some really good things this year. So I hold a lot of weight to what they say, and they tell me Terpenese is a very, very good product.
We'll have to check that out.
I'm sure somebody mentioned it on the comments there, Terpenese. I thought they were just spelling Terpinator wrong.
It's a product. Yeah, it is a product. To be fair, it looks like piss when it's in the bottle. Yeah. But yeah, it is a product.
Okay. And Terpinator from, I always forget where Terpinator's from, but it's a really good product, and it's proven to work very well on mint. They actually did scientific trials. Mint increased the oil content of mint plants. Spearmint, I think it was.
It's an interesting one, mint, isn't it? Because mint is minty flavour, so how could you measure an increase in minty flavour in a mint plant? It'd be real difficult for me. That.
Well, don't you? Because like when you get a shite lolly ice, and it's supposed to be mint flavour, and you put it in your mouth, and it tastes like water mint. Yeah. And then you get a feast one.
And it's coming out your ears.
Yeah, that that's a good way of measuring it.
Minty's a very, very difficult one to measure the level of, I would suggest, in terms of taste.
You know what? I don't know off the top of my head what the
like a bag of crisps as well. Do you ever stick your finger down the bottom in the corner to get the flavour at the bottom?
Of course, I'm a scouser lad. We've brought up on that shit.
You know what though? They are proper minge bags, aren't they? Because you have to sometimes you dig all the way down, suck your finger and everything. All your fingers are all wet and everything. There's not even any proper good flavour down there.
Sometimes I eat a bag of crisps just for the flavour at the bottom, and you get there. And
do you ever crush them all up? So I go, that's
not since I was about 7, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I haven't done any of that neither. Anyway, it's all about the flavour.
All about the flavour. And Terpenese won't affect the flavour.
But what I'm saying is,
by the way,
some of them funny little things that I've pulled out is it's some of the things that we do in our everyday life.
Of course.
Yeah. And why do we do that? Because we want to increase the flavour in what we're consuming at that time.
Yeah.
Like some people want to get the big massive teaspoon in the Nutella because they want that extra bit of Nutella, where some of us are just on the little spoon.
Hey, listen, we'd all like to write to Monster Munch and say, listen, calm your pickled onion down a bit,
Yeah.
beef up your beef.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's a fact. It's a fact of life. You know, everybody knows pickled onion Monster Munch, heavy. Fire water.
Beef roasters.
See, now they're setting a standard in
Beef
Grizz, but Monster
roasters
Munch
are
need to look at them
badass.
and look at them
Nice and
roasters
spicy
flavour.
knickknacks. I mean, that's where I'm at.
Knickknacks are an entirely different animal, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah.
but longer, aren't they?
They're an entirely different animal. You can
Yeah.
have a whole Knickknacks podcast. couldn't
Yeah,
you, to be
yeah,
fair?
they are the ruthless, aren't
But
they?
yeah, definitely Monster Munch beef.
But all very, very in their own right, they homed in on flavour because that's what their product is.
Yeah.
And that's what imagine the market research and development they do on the cheesiness of what's it.
It'd be
For
insane.
instance,
It'd be insane. Honestly, they'll.
but why
flavour
did
to
you do
these
that?
companies
Why
is-
would they do that? Why? What's the point?
Because it's that desirable flavour to the masses.
And
that we're
because it's
looking
their
for, isn't it?
company and they want the best out of their product, don't they? For their consumers. Sort of what we're talking about today. You want the best out of your plants for your consumer or yourself to consume. And these top tips that Stephen's bored me today with, yeah? If you home in on what he's saying to you, all of this stuff will increase all of these flavours and aromas and whatever. Some people may say, oh no, whatever. But if you do all of these things, your plant overall will be 1,000,000 times better and will taste and smell and look and be better if you listen to what Steve's bored
I've
you with
always wondered
today.
if storing your final product in a nitrogen environment would have any kind of beneficial effect. Because I was watching a documentary the other week and they were saying about crisps being put into a packet and how much they're about. And the interesting point I drew from that was that they don't seal them with air inside, they seal them with nitrogen inside the packet.
Yeah.
So I've often wondered for people who are storing fruits and vegetables whether there would be any beneficial to storing it in a nitrogen environment as opposed to in air.
It's a question for you.
Well, you say fruits and vegetables, but actually when they actually pick fruits and vegetables when they're not ripe, and then they stored, and then they transport them while they're not ripe, and then give them a dose of ethylene. Yeah, they give them ethylene to ripen them up. But nitrogen's an interesting one because it's harder, a lot harder. Ethylene, yeah.
Didn't he use that on Breaking Bad?
Would that probably been ethanol? Ethanol.
Okay.
Ethanol, alcohol. Ethylene is the hormone produced by fruits to encourage other fruits to ripen.
Okay.
Do you like that?
Yeah. Very good.
Just
checking.
What was it saying?
Like nitrogen.
Something about
A
nitrogen
lot harder
again.
for microbial populations to form, so obviously
Absolutely.
they
So
stay fresher for longer.
yeah, and is that something that we need to look at? Because the more focused on things like organics and flavours and aromas that we get, I'd suggest your product is all the time becoming more susceptible to fouling in storage. So it's something that
Some people don't even know how to store the product properly.
No, they don't.
Some people are storing the product before it's even harvested correctly.
Yeah.
And it's not even dried, they're
Yeah.
cured properly, and they're storing it, and then they wonder why the product's like shit then when they open it and think, what's that?
Yeah.
Who put that in there? Because I didn't put that in there, that's
How
not
did-
what I
how
had
did-
before.
How did powdery mildew get into my jar?
How did this bud rock get in here? Do you know, how did this rock get in here? So, anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Did you say strawberry rot?
yeah, that's
Strawberry
exactly what I
rot.
said.
Yeah. Thought it was. Store your strawberries properly, and you won't get
Nice,
strawberry
edit
rot.
from Yankee
Yeah.
Consistent humidity, basically.
Yeah.
Consistent humidity, around about 62% humidity. I use little tabs, they're called Bonitas. Bonitas they're called, and they're purified water sachet that I just pop into with my produce, and basically just keeps it at 62% humidity all the time. So it either gives
A bit
off,
like the little sachet
yeah.
you get in your
Yeah,
brand new
I've
trainers
got
when
one
they
in
come
my
out the
bag
box.
to show you, but it kind of give off purified water, and then when it goes above 62%, you take it back in. So
Okay.
it keeps it at a solid 62%, and that's
Interesting.
the ideal
Yeah,
humidity
yeah,
for
yeah.
storage.
That's spot on.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Spot on. Adam loves it, you know. He's been going about the Dr. Pepper, all the chemicals, chemistry labs everywhere. If I put cola in my plants, will it taste like that? Probably not.
Full of chemicals, crisps. Do
Yeah.
they flush?
Do you flush your chemicals? Chemicals, organic army, bag it. Adam, he is all about the organics.
Adam likes Dr Pepper.
No, hates Dr Pepper.
Does he?
Yeah, because
Why?
it's full of sugar and
He's
shite.
never drank Dr Pepper in his life.
What's the worst that could happen?
Hold on. So Adam's another mate here. Is he one of these organic mad? Free the cucumbers and
Yeah.
save the rabbits. Help the rabbits.
The Dr Pepper on a Friday is my treat. I've cut out 1.5 kilos of sugar. I'm allowed to have it.
I never drink Dr Pepper.
I don't even like Dr Pepper. I don't even know why we brought the subject of Dr Pepper up.
How much Brandon is Dr Pepper at today?
Too much.
Well, Adam, beyond the chocolate cake and custard later on, mate. A little few glasses of the Arl.
You going?
Rosé, red
Yeah.
wine. Nice.
So, but anyway, I think that's us concluded for today, isn't it?
It is. It certainly is. I hope you've enjoyed my deluge of science. I loved it.
And
I
our
love
little
Paul and
interlude
Thomas.
of our guest today.
Yes.
Thank you very much for participating in podcast 104.
Completely unintentional and incidental, but yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolute. Walked in on it, but cheers, guys.
Thank you. Well, listen, that's podcast 104, Juicy, with myself, Thomas.
And myself, Stephen. And it was all a dream.
Yeah. So next week, it's back to me with my podcast because, that was arduous, to say the least. But make sure you pay attention to the key points that Steve gave us, because if you implement more, boom, your plans will increase in all aspects that were mentioned today.
So take it easy, and we'll be back next week when I'm gonna dig into you. You know, twice you've dug into me. I'm gonna fire it back next week.
Yeah. So
It'll
stay
be
tuned
interesting.
for next week and my podcast. Thank you.
Everyone that's watching live, thank you very much, and we will. Actually, anyone that's watching live, head over to Instagram Live because I'm going to do a little tour around the shop and see how this graffiti's getting.
And
on. So if you
anybody who
after
wants
chat,
a free mug, yeah, just let us
come
know.
and see us. Come and let us know.
I'll send them out. Don't worry about it. I'll send you some mug out.
I'll drop some more off. I've got some.
Yeah. So there might even be some t-shirts. I don't know. Have you got any t-shirts in the van?
I haven't, but I have got lighters.
Okay.
Loads of them.
Okay, Sam. So I'll send you some mugs and some lighters out and that. I tried to get you some t-shirts, but there mustn't be any left. So bear with me. If you've come to the shop, I know you've got some starter packs, haven't you?
I have, yes.
And what I will say is them starter packs aren't cheap, are they?
No, they're 80 quid.
80
£80 retail, really.
£80 retail. So I'm not going to give out too many because I want you to come and buy stuff still from the shop.
Yes,
Yeah. So so come down the shop and let us know messages, and I'll send you out some mugs and some lighters.
Come and see us on Instagram for NPK Live After Chat if you want to chill with us more.
The after party.
The after party.
And it's coming into Friday night now, so it's going to get live.
See you all next week.
Bye.
Bye bye.
And if you don't know, now you know, you know, you know. I made the change from a common thief to up close and personal with Robin Leach. And I'm far from cheap. I smoke skunk with my peeps all day. Spread love, it's the Brooklyn way. The Moet and Alizé keep me pissy. Girls used to diss me. Now they write letters cause they miss